Welcome. In this video we're going to take a look at playlists, how to create them for both your own videos and for videos you find on the internet. So a playlist is simply a grouping or collection of related videos that are made to help organize the content for your viewers. So if I have a series of videos pertaining to one particular topic, it might be a good idea to put those in a playlist, and that way people are not sorting through my entire list of videos to find the ones that are related. Let's take a look at how to do that. As you can see, I've logged in. You can see by this icon up here, and if you click on it, you'll see that the channel that I'm in is listed up here. If this is the incorrect channel, of course, you want to switch. You want to pick the correct channel over here before proceeding. Now, once you've done that, you can click and come down to My Channel. If you don't see this here, it's because you're viewing this in the old YouTube format, in which case My Channel would be accessed from this menu over on this side. And I think you'll find as you move around through some of the tools and some of the options, you may come back here and find this looks different. At least that's what I found at this point, so that there may just be a listing of channels here and not all these other options. If that's the case, you can always get to My Channel over here. So it's going to be in one side or the other, or on one side or the other. So I'm simply going to go to My Channel. You can see listed here, I have a whole series of videos. But when I come to playlists, I don't find any. So there are several ways for you to create playlists. Let's look first, if I'm simply out on YouTube, and let's say that I'm searching for a particular topic. Okay, so things about weather, and I find different videos that I like. Here, this one's on weather theory, and I find this and I love this video. I can come down to this little icon down here, this Add To icon, and you can see that the only thing right now is a Watch Later option, and we've looked at that previously. It's simply where I can mark this for later viewing, so that I kind of don't lose it and forget where it is. But what I want to do is I want to create a new playlist at this point, and I'm going to call this Weather Info. That's probably a bad name. If I make this public, it means that other people can see my playlist. Of course, just like with videos, I could make it unlisted, the difference being that if it's public, it can come up in a search of YouTube. If it's unlisted, someone will need to already know the channel link. Or I can make it private and share it with individual people. For the most part, if there's not some sort of information in there that I need to keep private, I generally keep it public. And the reason is that, several reasons actually. One is that it's easier. There's less of a possibility that my students aren't going to be able to view it. And secondly, sometimes it's interesting when you create a playlist, especially of your own videos, to see over time what kind of viewership it gets, where that viewership comes from. It may not be from the United States, it may be from a different geographical area, etc. Okay, so when you're done with these settings, you simply say Create. It creates the playlist and it adds this tutorial to it. Let's just arbitrarily take these, and you can see that that now appears as an option here. So as you create playlists, they will appear for you here. It's not really about weather info, but I'll click it anyway. We'll just pretend for a moment. Notice there's no save button. Once I've created the list, I don't need to save anymore. I simply need to select the checkbox. And I can do that for multiple different things.
How's it going, everybody? Edward here, and today we're talking about the Mavic Pro as
Okay. If I now open up my menu, you'll notice that I have my playlist here. So if I wanted to ever get back to that, I would just click there. It would open up the playlist here. I can always remove something from a playlist, or I can take any one of these thumbnails, these little pictures that represent the video. I can take any one of those and make it the default for my playlist. So I could take this bottom one down here. Sorry, I could take this bottom one down here and say set as thumbnail. So even though this US Pilots is going to play first, when the playlist first loads, this is the image that's going to be displayed. Okay, so one way to make playlists, and you can do this with your own videos, or you can do it with videos you find on the internet, is simply as you're browsing around. So I'm going to come over here to my channel, and now I can see all of my videos. You know, as you're browsing around watching videos, is simply to use this icon down in the corner to either create a playlist or to add to an existing playlist. So here's a new playlist. I'm going to call this one Google Sheets Help. Create, and now I've got one for Google Sheets. Okay, this is how to do it from your regular user interface. There are now 2 playlists available to me. But another method of organizing it is to go through Creator Studio. The link to this will always be located on the right. You'll notice that my menu changed here when I actually got into Creator Studio. I guess the new YouTube look doesn't apply to the back end, it only applies to the front end. So if you wanted to go to Creator Studio in some circumstance, just know that the link is going to look a little different. It will always be over here on the right. Now under Video Manager, I have 2 options. One is videos, so this is showing me all the videos that I have, and the other is playlists, and we'll look at that in a moment. So let's say that I'm in here and I'm looking at all my videos and I want to add some additional videos to my Google Sheets playlist. Well, one way would be simply to click on the edit button. It'll bring you to a screen, and we'll look at all of this in the series of videos. That includes the basic information of the video, translations, advanced settings. We've looked at these. And some different options you can use to modify this video to enhance it. But on this basic info sheet, this lower right hand corner contains all of your playlists. So you can see that this one has already been added to Google Sheets. So let me come back to videos. That was add-ons and help menus, so I guess it's this one that isn't in there yet. So Google Tools. Oh, see, it says add to playlist because it's not in one. You should know that I could add a single video to multiple playlists simply by doing this. Let's do that just to illustrate the point. Oop, I'm sorry. In this case, I have to save the changes. A little confusing at points because there are certain times you have to save changes in certain environments where you don't have to save changes, so you've got to keep your eye on that. You'll generally be reminded. You won't lose your information. You'll be prompted to do it. See, this is basic. If you were to choose this down arrow, it just gives you different paths into the same area. Now I picked basic info, so I'm right back where I started. If I had chosen enhancements, I just would have been entered on this page in this area instead. Okay, so let me come back there. And I'll just add that one more onto the playlist. Okay, now in addition to where are we here? Video Manager. In addition to doing this from the video area, you can also click on the playlists area. You can see here that the 2 playlists I started to create are here, or the 2 that I've created are here. You have an option up here for a new playlist. So I can just click that button. I'm going to say Google Calendar Help over there, and I'm going to create. I can set the permissions on it here if I want. I'm going to leave it public and say create. And now this brings me into the playlist itself. Right now there are no videos in the playlist. So if I click edit, I get a couple of options here. I can click on share, and this is going to give me the link to the playlist itself. You can see the word playlist is right in here. So now I'm not linking to a video but to a playlist. I can get the embed code for that for a web page. I can email this directly to somebody here. Settings include things like your privacy settings and ordering. Now, the order that they videos appear in a playlist can be preset. I can put by the date I added it to the playlist itself. So when I made it part of the playlist, either by newest or oldest on top, or by date published, newest or oldest. So there can be a difference. I can have published something 2 weeks ago, but added it to the playlist later. I can also do it by most popular, so what's getting the most views. Or I can leave it to manual, which is what I generally do, and then I can order them the way I see fit. There's an option to add new videos to the top of the list, which has some merit in the sense that if the content people are coming to see, they're going to want to see the new stuff. Okay, but generally I just leave it at manual. You can allow or disallow embedding. So if I do this, now someone can't embed that into a web page. I don't usually use this option, but you can set something as an official series by clicking this box. Auto add, so you can put a rule in here to add things to a playlist, like if the title contains calendar, automatically add it to this playlist. So I'd want to use that in conjunction with something like this, where the newest goes on top, etc. So it's not lost. Generally, again, I handle them manually, and you do have an option for collaboration. So if I turn this on, I can invite collaborators by sending them a link, and then they will be able to add. And that's handy if you're working with a partner or something in a particular space. Okay, the other option over here is to add videos. So I can actually search them on the fly if I want, but normally I'm going to either take the URL from a video I found and paste it in here. Let's try that. I found a Google Calendar, and I just think that this is the best tutorial since sliced bread. So I come in here, I copy the link, I throw it in here. You know that you're going to get the correct link because the video is going to preview for you over here. Let me get rid of that. Or you come to your own YouTube videos, which is often going to be the case, and you can select them here. When you start to get a very large group of videos, I find it's often easier to go to the video itself and add it to the playlist instead of scrolling through all this. But that's totally up to you. Whatever works for you is fine. See, I'm looking for Google Calendar here, and it's here, but I can't find it, so I'm just going to lose patience and pretend that that's the video that I want. Okay, you can see that there's now a video in this playlist, and I can add more. Once videos are in a playlist, you can reorder them simply by clicking and dragging them. Okay, you have the options of moving it to the top or the bottom, or setting it as a playlist thumbnail. We've seen that already, but here's another place that you can do it. The other thing you can do is you can just exit out. So if you have an outdated video or one you accidentally put in the list, you can simply click the X to remove it. Now this playlist has a single video. And over here you can delete the entire playlist. We looked at this previously with videos. You can do a translation. So you could select your language, it's English, and I could look for another language. Let's say I wanted to do this one in French or French Canadian. Now I would need to take this information and paste the translation. It's not going to do it for you. You have to get the translation, and you can put the title here and the translation of the description here to make it available to people in another language. So I'm just going to cancel that. And that really does it for playlists. They're very handy. They help organize content for your users, and especially in an educational environment where you may want them to proceed in a particular path, it can be very helpful.